welcome back. Today I'm going to be servicing my car. Figured I'd bring you guys along for the ride. It is an oil change, so I'll show you guys how I do that and what I do on an oil change, because changing your oil just doesn't mean change your oil. There's a lot of other things you need to do to ensure that your car is going to be safe for the next 3,000 to 5,000 to 6,000 miles, whatever your service interval is. Service interval on this one is every 12,000 miles, but I service it between 5,000 and 6,000. So right now I am warming up the vehicle because you never want to change your oil cold or it doesn't remove the sludge. So stay tuned, we'll be right back. I'm going to get this thing warmed up and then we're going to start changing out this oil and checking it over. All right, be right back. All right, so this is an E46 2001 BMW station wagon. It is a 325, but the 330 is the same, so figured I'd show you. I have 229,664 on the mileage, and on this one, when you turn the key on to start it, your oil light that's in red up there will actually turn yellow, and then it flashes down here on what your oil, how far your oil change is due. So I already hit the 33,300 miles, so that's why it's flashing at the bottom that way. So we're going to have to reset that as well. So I'll pull out the scan tool and get that reset. So battery's low in the car, so I'm gonna get it also put on a charger while we're doing this stuff. We'll be right back. All right, so I'm gonna look at a couple things. Washer fluid, we're a little low, so we'll top that off. Power steering fluid, reservoir is sweating. That's a common problem with BMWs. You want to check to make sure that all your hoses, belts, your fan belts, and all that stuff are in good condition. I am going to need to change out the hoses and belts on this soon. These things are notorious for these air inlet tubes to rip and crack and then set check engine lights. So you want to check that. You want to check the tops of your struts to make sure that you're not ripped. So overall, as you see, I keep the engine compartment wiped down and clean. This car is very, very old, but it is in excellent condition. As you see with the mileage, it has plenty of life left. The other thing we're going to check is brake fluid. Brake fluid is going to tell you when it gets close to the minimum that your brake pads are going low. So never top this off if it's low. So this one has a fresh air filter in here that I replaced not too long ago. So you're going to want to check it every time because you don't want that stuff getting into it. And as you see, it is filthy. So we are going to replace this out. So I'm going to have to pick up one of those. That's the cabin air filter is what that's called. Not to be confused with the engine air filter, which is in this box. This one is basically your air conditioning. So as you see, here's your Bosch and here's your Bosch number. I have replaced this before and it looks like it's due again. I've been going into a lot of dirt lately. So here's another thing. As you see, these things are notorious for breaking off these mounts. So this is my air pump. So I am gonna have to get the air pump bushings again. That'll be my third time replacing them on the lifespan of this car so far. I have replaced this before, so that keeps the heat off the hood, keeps it all in the engine compartment. So went ahead and I got the socket out. This is going to be for my oil filter. This is a special socket. So what I'll do is I'm going to crack this loose, and you don't crank these things down super tight. I am going to crack this loose just to let air into the motor so that it drains easier. Also going to take the oil filter off, and then we're going to get this thing jacked up. So we'll be right back. Alright, so got the car up in the air, got the drape pan out. Make sure you pop your vent. Definitely pull the plug to the drain pan so that oil could drain. Get your sockets ready. If you're not sure, get standard and metric, bring them both out. I'm going to set you guys up on a tripod now. And we are going to look for this drain plug. Oh, that's too big. Now there is a washer on this drain plug. You should replace it every time. I replace it every few times. It does come in the kit, so there is signs of leaking. So what I like to do is, since I don't want to get oil on my hands, I'll take the socket on an extension, turn this thing long ways because the oil is going to want to shoot out this way. Make sure you don't leave your light in there. And then it's almost out. So if you drop the drain plug, I usually just drop it into the bin. Like that. Trying not to get oil all over my hands, which never works. And then we are going to let it sit here and drain, which you guys probably can't see because I'm going to position that. Grab me a rag. So we are going to let that drain, and looks like we'll have plenty of bucket so it won't spill on the floor. We're going to now move to the top. We're going to finish changing this oil filter. I stick my magnet light up here. I'll put you guys over here. Grab the oil filter in the bag and the oil. Yep, one says Wicks. So here's our oil filter. I'm gonna go ahead and finish unscrewing this. Now, there's not a whole lot of savings when it comes to doing your own oil. The big part of doing your own oil is You get to use the oil you want, and you get to look over your vehicle. A lot of these shops say that they look them over. A lot of them do not, including the dealer. The dealer has a big 12-point or 24-point inspection, and I've rolled out of there with bald tires before when they said they check tires. So don't believe anybody, check your own car. I actually have my kids come out and show them how to do this oil change too. There is an O-ring here, and there's a couple O-rings here that we're going to go ahead and change out on an insert. This is an insert oil filter. What happened to the gloves? Go check next to my table in there. So make sure you grab yourself a bag or something, because when we pull this out, you're going to want to stick it into something so it doesn't spill all over the place. And there's my oil filter. Now we're going to go ahead and pop open. Here's the new cartridge. It's the same both sides, doesn't matter. I always throw the part number up. You can clip this onto the oil filter element. Grab yourself a pick. Get this O-ring out of here. Oh. There's the big O-ring. There's your washer for the drain plug, and they only supplied the big O-ring, which there's supposed to be 2 small O-rings as well. And of course, this Wix brand did not supply it, and that's another issue with buying aftermarket parts. Now, Wix is the factory filter for mine now. It used to be Bosch, but they went ahead and changed that out. There we go. I'm going to take the O-ring, throw it underneath so that I have it for the drain plug. Now we're going to tighten this back down. And it has the Newton meter pounds. I just snug it up. Grab your parts brake cleaner. Clean that off. are going to head back to the bottom. It is still draining. So we're going to let that thing continue draining and we'll be right back. Alright, I'm going to get the drain plug now. We're going to change that gasket. There it is. Make sure that your drain plug gasket does come off. New gasket on the bolt, which it doesn't fit. Great. Thank you, Wix. So now I'll be using the old gasket because the new gasket does not work. But it happens. That's why buying parts from the dealer are usually always the best option. Nice and snug. That washer can go in there. Bring you guys out. Get the tools out. Oil drain pan out. Make sure you cap it. Wipe down the inside just so it doesn't spill. Put that back. Stand it up, put it back in the corner.
Is that supposed to be open?
Yes. You're fine, go. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect the brakes. Brake pads are about, I want to say 20%, 30%. I am going to check for play in the wheel. And it looks like inner tie rods are going bad. Got some play on the tie rods. Now I'm going to check this side. So inner outer tie rods on both sides are going to have to be replaced. So that's the next thing I'm going to have to do. Rubber looks good in there. And that's it. We looked over the belts. We looked over hoses. I am going to test the battery because the battery's weak on this one. So now we're going to go ahead and lower it down. Get the jack out on the other side. She just dropped the car. So now we're gonna go ahead and fill it up with oil. And the oil change is as simple as that. So I believe this car takes 1.5 gallons, which is like 6 or 7 quarts, I believe. Should be 6 quarts. You should use a funnel. That's 1 gallon. I'm going to pull the dipstick and see where it is on the dipstick. So it's at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and add another quart. There we go. That should be plenty to start it up. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw the cap back on. We're going to fire it up and run it for a minute. Want to make sure your red oil light goes off. Then we're going to go ahead and come out. We're going to make sure nothing is dripping. Nothing is leaking on the ground. We got nothing dripping on the ground. We're going to check this oil filter housing to make sure that it's not leaking. Make sure that the O-ring's sealed good. So we are good there. And that's it. So the next thing I will be doing is resetting the oil light. So we'll be right back with that. All right, we are now going to take, this is the scanner I use. It's a Blue Point scanner. This is just a little one I use at home to check codes, check ABS, airbags, that kind of stuff. We're gonna go to the DSL port. You're gonna plug it in. It's auto linking. It's checking for VIN, that kind of stuff. Okay, 2001 3 Series right there. Is this your vehicle? It's not. Well, it is mine. Yes. So it has 2 lane codes stored. We're going to clear them out. Erase was successful. It's rescanning. I just want to get over to the oil change stuff. That boot that goes to the throttle body is has got a tear in it, so I got some lane code stored in there. So what I want to do is scroll down to oil reset, navigation system, select yes or no. So this one does not have a navigation system. Oil reset, yes. So oil maintenance was reset. And that's it. Now we're going to go ahead and unplug this, close it back up. I'm going to cycle the key. Well, actually, I'm going to just turn it off for now. And we're going to go check our oil level to make sure that it's full. And it's already getting dark out here. So I'm going to check the oil level. And then that's it. Everything is done. So there you go, guys. Hopefully this helps some people out there. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.